I will be forever the myth.
You're the king of kings,
There's always a pecking order. The little packers never mess with the big packers. So I'm a rooster, and he's a chicken, so to speak.
Welcome back to the Bodybuilding Legends Podcast. I have a very special guest with me today, the giant killer himself, Mr. Danny Padilla. Danny, how you doing? Thanks for joining me.
I'm surviving another day here.
Well, happy 70th birthday, first of all. You just had your 70th birthday this last week, right?
Yeah, it was scary. I was laying on the beach in California, and I woke up. I'm here in a cold room. I'm 17 years old. I don't know what happened.
Right, I know. It flies by, doesn't it? Jeez. Well, Dan, we always like to start at the beginning. So if you could tell us how you got started in bodybuilding, what got you started in weightlifting, that whole story.
Well, I'm sure they've heard it before, but when I was a youngster, probably at the age of 8,
okay,
my brother was a wrestler, and my cousin David was a wrestler, and they used to lift weights in the basement. Okay, and they had pretty good physique, so that got me started on weightlifting. Little stuff, York barbell set. And then we made up our own stuff, like we would take 2 pieces of wood and nail them into the top so I can do wide grip chins. And we would go out and get the sewer caps and put those in there. So because, I come from a family of 10, and my dad wasn't going to spend $100 on weight set.
Right.
So that was a start for me. And then I back home where I grew up, there was a little store. And this guy had all these comic books, and then I got to see my first bodybuilding book. And I remember at the time it was Dave Draper, Chuck Sipes, Chet Yorton, them guys. I mean, people ain't gonna know who these guys are, but
we do.
Leroy Colbert with the big arm,
Yeah. So these were the old muscle builders, then, huh? The old muscle builder magazines.
And I picked up my first magazine, and that was the end. I got hooked.
Wow, really? So was there any particular guy you kind of looked up to when you were reading the magazines?
Well, Dan Lurie had a guy, and Weider, Freddie Ortiz, like me. He had this tremendous physique that he really never got recognition for. But for myself, just all the guys, the biggest hero for me was my father, because he was a rugged guy. He was short, but strong as 10 guys, and he could knock somebody out one punch. I mean, the guy was a bear. Really? So, yeah, he was really one of the big motivators for me.
Uh-huh.
But looking at all these magazines, you got to see all these guys, Dave Draper, Larry Scott with a tremendous bicep shot.
Yeah.
Sergio came along, and then eventually Arnold and the guys. So they were all very motivating for me. And so I started competing in the AAU. So I didn't even know about bodybuilding contests until a friend of mine, Lada, his name was Lada. His last name was Lada. He said, "Danny, man, how long have you been training?" I said, "Training for what do you mean?" He goes, "You got muscles," because I was genetically gifted. And I
was going to ask you about that, Dan. Like when you started, were you skinny, and then did you?
I was small. I was very light.
Okay.
Let's put it this way: when I graduated from high school, I weighed 148 pounds.
Wow.
So I was a little guy. I wasn't even 5 foot yet.
Wow, really? Okay.
Really. So at the time, though, I was very athletic, very strong. Of course, that came from my parents. I was a great gymnast. I could do anything gymnastic-wise. And he convinced me to compete in the YMCA Mr. Rochester. And I won it. So at 17 years of age, that was my first title, Mr. Rochester.
Mr. Rochester. Okay. So when you started weight training, you grew pretty quick. Your body responded pretty fast.
Well, you know what? I got muscular, but I didn't get big.
Okay.
So, but I got pretty muscular, where you could recognize that I did something. You weren't sure.
Yeah.
And so I kept going. Then we were in the AAU, and I competed in a lot of shows in the AAU. And basically, I went national, and I did the junior nationals, and I didn't do bad. I did the America a couple times. I was in the low numbers there. And I'll never forget the AAU judges told me, "Look, you got a tremendous physique, beautiful balance, but you're just too little. I'd give this up if I was you." That was what they told me to do.
Wow.
And
I was looking at some of the contests you were in, and like you said, some of those Americas and stuff, you were way down the list. It looked like they just had a whole list of competitors. Was that just one group, or did they have height classes?
that was just one group.
One group. That's what it looked like. Yeah.
There was no height classes. The only time I hit height classes when I went around, the area like Schenectady and Buffalo, Syracuse. They had short man. And back in that time, Pete Kwiatkowski was the big shot around here, and he would win all those shows, and I'd be second to him.
Okay.
And so I grew up being second to Pete. And then when the AAU told me, you suck, I said, well, it's time to go see what kind of shows I can enter. And at that time, I met John Balick, who was a photographer.
Yeah.
At the time, and he said, man, you got a tremendous physique. And don't listen to those guys. Keep going. And I said, yeah, I will. I'll find something. So then I decided to go into the IFBB Mr. USA show.
Right.
And I'm going to train 1 year straight for that. And that's what I did.
Now, did you know somebody in the IFBB, Dan?
I knew nobody.
Okay.
I just found the show.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going. And it was great because I had a lot of guys from my area, a couple guys used to train with me. And they said, yeah, we'll all go. We'll have a ball. We'll go to New York. Because, go to New York. It's big.
Yeah.
And my first big show where I got the light bulb was the Mr. USA. And it was in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, 1975, right?
Yep. And so I walked in there and I was pale as a ghost. Nope, not very much color, but naturally I'm brown because I'm Hispanic.
Yeah.
And so I walked in and there's Arnold and there's Franco, Robbie Robinson, at the time, Roger Callard.
Yeah.
Robbie Robinson. And so Franco Colombo. And so that was the first time I got to see the West Coast guys.
Yeah, yeah. What did you think? What did you think after reading about these guys?
I was like, wow, these guys look tremendous. But
yeah.
I didn't realize how good I looked because I just trained,
Yeah.
And so when I walked in and they said, okay, you got to weigh up and we need your name. And Minicello, who ran the show, he says, well, where are you from? And I says, I'm from Rochester, New York. He goes, holy, how long have you been training? I said, oh, not too long. So he was in shock. So he said, you were sent from heaven. Because at the time, New York was kind of fighting the West Coast.
Right, right, yeah, yeah.
We didn't have the bodies.
Right.
So here I walk in.
From nowhere.
Out of nowhere, I walk in and I win the height class and I win the whole show.
Wow, yeah, I remember that,
So
yeah.
I had the New York push. So, of course, at the time, Roger Callard thought he should have won it. He looked pretty good, very nice physique, a very handsome kid.
Yeah.
A nice hand. And then there was Denny Gable, who was Arnold's training partner.
Right, I remember him.
Very nice guy, very handsome guy too, beautiful tan, but the legs were kind of off.
Yeah.
And so that was the beginning for me. And that's when Joe Weider, of course, said, Daddy, my God, you look tremendous. Where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. They're asking me all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. I always going to, my whole life was going to be, I was going to run the mom and pop store, and bodybuilding was just going to be fun.
Right.
I never had any ambition to be the guy.
Yeah.
And so then he said, I want you to fly to California. We're gonna make a star out of you and all this crap.
Was Joe out there? Was he out there for the show?
He was out there, yeah. He was talking to me.
Yeah.
And he said, I want to do a photo shoot. I want you to meet me at this place and all this stuff. And then, of course, I met
Robbie won the Mr. World, right, Dan? That's
right at that time. And I talked to Robbie. They were very nice. Ed Giuliani was there also.
Yeah.
And so the only guy that was a little upset was Roger Callard. He was a little upset that he lost. But the rest of the guys were cool. They introduced themselves. And that was the beginning for me, because then Joe brought me out to California to train for the Mr. Universe.
Yeah. Wow. So now you won the USA, Robbie won the Mr. World. So you guys thought you were automatically on the team, right, to go over to the Mr. Universe?
Well, I supposedly I was automatically, because Joe Weider said, I need you to come out because we're doing pump and iron.
Okay. So
I was out there for pump and iron.
Right. Right.
And at the time, people didn't know Mike Mentzer was out there in the background, but he still wasn't, he wasn't that guy yet.
Right.
But he was there.
Yeah.
So I got out to LA and they had already gone through some stuff. And that's when they introduced me and they said, look, how would you like to do pump and iron? And I says, well, are you paying? The guys getting paid? What's going on here? Because, I grew up in a kind of a business background. So, and my dad was pretty smart. I was dumb. And so I was like, are we getting paid? He goes, no, it'll be seen all over the world. You'll be famous.
Mm-hmm.
So, I did a couple little things in there. I saw Arnold and, we were in some of the stuff. And then.
So you go to Gold's in that summer and did you spend the whole summer out there?
Yeah, I spent the whole summer training for the universe. At the time when I got out there, the last a month or two, I trained for the universe.
Wow. So tell me about that, Dan. How was that training at Gold? That's the original Gold's.
That's the original Gold's gym, and there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
It was like the Holy Land. It's like the Holy Land in the Middle East there. It was tremendous. The guys are all cool.
So you're training alongside Arnold and Franco, and Robbie, and everybody there.
All the guys were there, but so was Robbie. Guys flew in from Europe too. Dave Draper was this huge, gentle giant.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, because when I was a child, I used to dream about Gold's Gym.
Yeah, everybody did.
Here I was at Gold's Gym. I was
yeah.
Like, there is a God, I'm at Gold's Gym, and it was like nothing I can describe to you. Nothing. It's like eating the best meal ever.
Yeah.
The best of the best. I'm training alongside them, and it was like everybody's got a little bit of an attitude in the sense of, but everybody got along. It was great.
Were you training by yourself?
I've never been like that.
Yeah. Were you training by yourself all summer?
At the time, I was training by myself, and then I trained a couple times with Arnold.
Really?
Ed Corney came out. I trained a couple times with Eddie. I trained with Denny Gable.
Yeah.
And then it's just guys that were there. Half of them I don't even remember. Oh, Ken Waller.
Yeah.
And so we all trained. Paul Grant was there. And so, it was a great experience. I can't even describe it to you.
Yeah. Did everybody kind of take you in? You're the new guy, the new young guy?
Well, they would say, here's that guy that I don't know how he won in New York. And so Arnold, one day we're doing calves, right? And Arnold says, come on, we do calves. And so I was short and the machine was a little high, so I had to put a big block. We switch it. And so Arnold would say to Joe Gold, the new guy here, he needs a ladder so he can do calves. That's the kind of crap I had to put up with.
Right. That's awesome, man. That had to be an unbelievable experience coming out of Rochester. You're probably 24 years old.
Think about it. Rochester's famous for Kodak at the time.
Right.
So here I am in the greatest place in the world that I thought, and then we went to Muscle Beach.
Yeah.
So, I got to see bodybuilding at its highest level for me.
Yeah, in the golden era. Yeah.
The golden era, the best of the best. And then eventually we had to make the trip to Africa, which was like, it was, for me, it was a disaster.
Yeah.
It was really horrible.
Yeah. So I've read about this now. So you're on the plane, Robbie's on the plane, you guys are going to the universe, and then they got Ken Waller, and then Mike Katz is there, but you didn't know. Did you know Mike was going in the show?
Well, see, here's what was supposed to happen.
Okay.
This is what we were told. I was a short class. Robbie was the middle class.
Right.
And Mike Katz and Ken Waller were supposed to have a pose down in the room the night before, and that guy would represent the heavyweight.
Okay.
This is what I was told. So I'm participating in all this stuff in pump and iron. I'm doing all this stuff with, photo sessions, all this crap.
Did they film you a lot at Gold's over the summer, Dan? Were they filming you a lot? Did they film you a lot at Gold's also with the cameras, the pumping iron?
Yeah, we were all there. I was filmed a lot, but I got taken out a lot because it was an embarrassment to the IFBB.
Right. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
I was stupid. I should have sued. I would never have to work again.
Yeah. Right.
What they did was the morning of the show, I was told you're not competing. The morning of the show. I was eating breakfast, getting ready to get on the bus. And they said, well, you're not going to compete. I said, what do you mean I'm not going to compete? I'm on the team.
Yeah.
And nobody would explain it to me. So I went to Oscar State. And of course, at the time, I blamed Ed Jubenville, who was the coach of our team. He was our coach.
Right.
Every team had a coach. And he never came to me. So for years, I blamed the poor guy. And I come to find out later that it was Butler who said, why don't you let the little guy stay out and we can have Ken Waller and Mike Katz in the back, fighting for the position.
Yeah,
so
that
they
was
threw me out.
Part of the movie, yeah. Right.
So it was basically Pumping Iron did that.
Wow.
So when I went to Ben Weider, I said, Ben, what's going on here? And he's like, what do you mean? You got to take it up with the management. I don't know what's going on. I said, you're the president. You got to know everything.
Right.
And he said, that's just the way it's effing is. So I said, oh, yeah. So now I go to Oscar State, and he says to me, Dan, are you not competing? And I says, Oscar, somehow I got bumped. He says, how? That's not possible. You're a member of the team. So the guy from Portugal, the coach, came by, and I said to him, you don't have a guy in your short class, do you? And he could speak Spanish, and he says, no. I said, can I be on your team? Are you kidding me? Is this a joke? And I said, no. So I said to Oscar, I want to get on his team. Can I do this? Because he was the head of the European.
Yeah.
And he said to me, well, I don't know how we're going to do this, because he liked me. I said, Oscar, my mom was born in Spain. My dad was born in Puerto Rico. They had to go by Portugal to get there. And he said, with a story that stupid, I got to let you in. So he let me in.
So he lets you into Team Portugal. Okay.
Right. If you look at pictures that you don't see very many, because it was an embarrassment for everybody.
Right.
I pulled in a banner and it says Portugal. It doesn't say USA. You'll find it on the internet. If you look, you'll see it.
That's when all the athletes come out on the stage. And
right. So we all carried a banner back then. And
right.
I got the stick banner and says Portugal. And Arnold in front of me in the seats laughing his ass off. He's saying, right. Oh my God, Danny. So now I get on stage and I'm competing and I'm kicking everybody's butt.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to win the universe. I was the winner.
For Portugal.
They had a kid from England and somewhere else, and they protested. Somebody from England. And Oscar State was from England, and he let me in. But one of the guys protested, and there was a big meeting, and I got kicked out again.
So how far did you get in the competition, Dan? Were you
I was at the finals. I was at the finals, getting ready to win. Wow. I was going to be crowned Mr. Universe.
Damn.
And I got bumped. So now, if you watch Pumping Iron, the only piece that you see me in that whole movie is sitting down with Arnold.
Watching.
Arnold came over to me and said, Danny, are you okay? I am so sorry. I said, you know what? The hell with it. And then I looked at Franco, and that's when I said, my God, look at those legs. He could fly with those things. They're like wings.
Right.
And that's the only part you see me in Pumping Iron.
Oh,
but
man.
that's when Arnold came over and asked me if I was all right, because I just got kicked out.
I can't even lift the lad's friend. He's so crazy.
What a monster. Oh my God.
Those guys are like animals, man. I can't believe it. Look at this one now, wait. See, this is the bypass, right? Here, look at it.
And your lats from the rear?
God, what's he gonna see?
You call him the bat from now on. Franco the bat.
He could fly with that.
Look at this one.
Oh,
Look at the dog.
Finish with the left side chest. Then your optional routine.
Hey, my shot. God damn it.
That guy is just, it gives you chills when you watch that guy.
I know. Isn't it unbelievable? Look at it. Look.
Ed Corney, a 44-year-old nightclub owner, originally from Hawaii. He is Franco's chief competition in the under 200-pound class.
Can you believe that? I mean, that's what I call posing.
Jeez, unbelievable. If you would have been on USA team, you would have won your class.
Oh.
And then it would have been you, Robbie, and Ken Waller. It would have been an American
sweep. What? The first time in the history of the sport, we would have won all three classes.
Right.
So they're embarrassed now. So now, if you hardly saw anything when I came home, and people ask me, I thought you were competing in the universe. They thought I was lying. Come on, Dan. That story's crazy. And it was a true story. It truly happened to me. and like a jerk, in love with bodybuilding. All I had to do was get a lawyer.
Yeah.
They're going to have to write me a check.
Right.
You know, they have to write something and say, here's 50,000, go away, or here's whatever.
Yeah.
I could say I'm mentally unstable now because they destroy me. You make up some crap and you get a nice check. But for the love of bodybuilding, thinking, you know, I'll be back. I'm going to fight harder.
Yeah.
And I ate it. I ate that bullet.
Yeah. So you got your first taste of bodybuilding politics. Your
Got my
first year in the
taste of
IFBB.
bodybuilding. And when I listen to guys today, they look at me and they go, well, yeah, you were okay, but it was easier then than it is now.
Yeah.
I said, are you kidding me? You don't know what it's like. You don't know what we go through. I don't know what you go through. I said, baby, I got the trail of tears in bodybuilding. Right. I can tell you so many stories that you would say are impossible.
Yeah. So how about your popularity though, Dan? You had to be like really popular because you were in the magazines all the time. You were the new superstar in the IFBB.
You know what? I was popular, but the problem with me was, you know, I never, like, I loved bodybuilding, but it was for fun. My idea was to come home and go to work.
Yeah.
And that was it. But I never thought about being, you know, the guy in bodybuilding, making a living. And I was stupid for doing that.
Yeah.
Because at that time I could have done very well. And like, you know, you're trying to get a hold of me. Well, that's the way I was back then. Wasn't interested.
Yeah.
I stayed away.
Right.
It was like, or something come up, you know, and so I really didn't take advantage of a great situation.
Yeah. Were there a lot of bodybuilders doing posing exhibitions back then in 1975?
Yeah, we were doing exhibitions.
Okay.
We invented seminars. You know, we come up with ideas on how to try to make money in the game.
Yeah.
Because there was money, but not like today.
No. Yeah.
And, you know, and back then, Mike Mentzer, at the time, we were trying to get into the internet, you know, and he lost a lot of money during that time because it just didn't happen. It didn't explode like it did later.
Yeah, just before.
But we already were trying to invest in the internet, and we took a beating because it didn't happen like it is right now.
Wow.
These guys are lucky.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
This is a powerful machine you got here now.
Yeah.
And I don't even take advantage of it. I'm not tweeting. I ain't doing nothing. Everybody says, are you rich? I said, I'm hoping to get a glass of milk tomorrow.
So then you go home, right, to Rochester after that experience, and then do you train for next year? Is that what the plan was?
I go home, and my dad says, what happened? And it was like, he says, well, we're going to get a lawyer, right? And I said, no, let's just go to work. In fact, I'll never forget when I won the USA, I come home. Now think about this, the Madison Square Garden. I won my first big show.
Yeah.
That's bragging rights. Madison Square Garden is like that place. So I come home with these 3 big trophies. And my dad says, wow. He says, you won? I go, yeah. He goes, so now what? I'm Mr. USA. He goes, okay, how much money they give you? I go, nothing. He goes, okay, put those up there. Here's the mop. Let's finish the work. That's what he thought of bodybuilding.
Right. Let's get back to work.
So now it was like, all right, I got to go back and train. So then I stayed home, and I went back to LA and trained for the universe again. I really wasn't dieting hard. I was just trying to get big.
Well, next year they had the America in New York again, right? In 76.
Right. They had the America, and I didn't compete that year. I didn't compete that year because I went into the universe, I think it was.
Well, no, you went in.
I did the America. You're right. I won the America that year.
Yeah, Mike
won. I couldn't have, because I won the American and the universe the same year. So that year I might have gone in the American and got beat again.
Yeah, I think you won the short class, but Mike Mentzer won the overall.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what happened. And so I got to compete in the universe.
Right.
And I got beat by Makkawy.
Yeah.
Okay, that was in Toronto. And in fact, Arnold and the guys were sitting there, and the audience went nuts when I lost because I was so little but so big.
Yeah.
Back then, they didn't care about, all these cuts.
Yeah.
And Makkawy was very aggressive, had a nice upper body. His legs were weak, but he was tremendous, and he won the show.
Did you know about Makkawy before that show, or was he like a total surprise? He was a total surprise.
He came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
The Europeans all came over, and then I got beat there.
How was that event in Toronto? That looked like a huge. I saw
it was a huge venue.
The audience was huge, right?
The audience was huge. And even though I lost, they were screaming for me.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, I got even more recognition from that show because then they got to know who I was.
Yeah.
Because I was pretty big at the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And the body wise, but I was smooth. I mean, I could have been harder, but I wasn't really that interested. And then I said, you know what? I got to win this show.
What did you think of Mentzer when you first saw him? Because that was probably the first time.
When I saw Mentzer, I said, you know, this guy's got a lot of potential. He still had some weak body parts, but he was a good guy, very intelligent, and he had a tremendous physique. And I said, man, this guy keeps going, he's going to be dangerous.
Yeah, I just talked to Jack Neary recently, the guy who was writing for Muscle Builder.
Yeah.
And I think that was that America in '76 was the first big contest he covered. And he said that was the one where Mentzer kind of came out and everybody saw him for the first time.
Right. That's where that was the starting point for him.
Yeah.
Right there, that show. And he did well. And from that point on, he went up the mountain.
So after the Universe in Toronto, then do you go back home again? Was that
Yeah, I stayed home.
Yeah.
And I didn't go back to LA. I stayed home and I trained at home for the America. And I'll tell you how crazy that was. I was training with a good friend of mine named Larry Baker, who's now an attorney. Him and I were real close friends. And we trained, and he wanted to go to LA to he was going to law school, so he wanted to go there and take the exam. You know, so he says, why don't we drive to LA? So a week before the show, I drive to LA.
Wow, from New York.
That's so insane. And we got there in 2.5 days.
Yeah.
Okay. And in the process of going through Missouri or one, we almost got killed by a hurricane. You know, it almost sucked us up.
Right.
So,
right.
anyways, I get all the way to LA, and I show up. We left on a Saturday or Sunday with rest time. We got there like on a Tuesday or Wednesday. So him and I went to the beach, relaxed. Then I walk into World Gym. It was World Gym now, it wasn't Gold.
Okay.
And I walk upstairs and walk in, and everybody's looking and say, isn't that guy Padilla? And he says, yeah, what are you doing here? I said, I come here to pick up my trophy. And they're like, what? Yeah, I'm going to win the America. Now, I was in pretty good shape. Not enough color, but in good shape.
Yeah.
And of course, Roger got all emotional. And he said, he was like, nobody's going to beat me, because that was Arnold's training partner.
Yeah, yeah. Of
course, and then Kent Waller, who I didn't even know, and he just said, damn, he looked pretty good for a little guy. I bet $500 he wins the America. So all hell broke loose. Roger got all upset. And Arnold's like, just train. And so the show gets there on a Saturday, and it was so funny because at the time, Tony Novak, who was, he used to work with Arnold, and you remember Tony. Well, him and Ed Giuliani were working out together.
Okay.
So, and what happens is Ed tells Tony, when they compare me and Dan, let me know what shots I'm winning. Okay. And he says, okay, that'll be good. So he's sitting right in front, and I'm sitting there, and we do a double by, and Tony Novak goes, nah. Lat spread. Tony goes, nah. Okay, side chest. He goes, nah. And so Eddie says that was the most humiliating. Eddie tells me the story back.
Right.
To make a long story short, I win the lightweight, okay? And then I win the whole show.
Right, you beat Gronkowski, and
he's in shock. He's got his hand on his head like, what the hell happened? And Roger is pissed off. This can't be.
Right.
So now I'm in the shower, okay? And Waller says, come on, we're going to go out and celebrate. They make me come out again for another prejudging because Roger was upset.
Wow, really? They brought you guys back out?
Honest promise. I had to come out for prejudging, soap in my hair, I had to clean it up. I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
This is after the decision?
After I was already awarded everything.
Holy cow.
There was like a little protest, and I don't know if Arnold did it or Roger was upset. they said, let's look it over again.
And Franco was the promoter, right?
Right. And so Frank Jim and whoever else said, he's the winner, the hell with it. So then I took my trophy. I was so pissed off and I smashed it. You know, it's a little Mr. America trophy. I smashed it.
Really? No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't. The hell with it. So we went out and partied a little bit. Me, Waller, a couple of the guys, even Denny Gable was with us.
Yeah.
And so
I think I read about that, Dan. Didn't you guys go to like a disco or something? And Waller
we went out and partied. Got in a little bit of trouble, but we were all right. But Franco, who I loved, got upset with Joe and said, this guy broke the trophy. So Joe said,
really?
What's wrong with you? Why'd you break the trophy? I said, I'm Mr. America. The trophy's no bigger than my fist. It must have been one of his trophies that he won in Italy. So we were always busting chops,
Right.
But that's a true story. That truly happened there.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw pictures. I remember seeing pictures of that contest. That looked pretty cool. They had some movie stars there too, right? Didn't they? Like Burt Reynolds was there.
Yeah. Yep.
Ellie Field and John Saxon.
Yep. The stars came in.
Yeah.
And crazy as it was another crazy thing like Madison Square Garden. I won in LA, unheard of. So New York loved me after that. Anytime I competed at the Beacon Theater,
right?
It was nuts.
You got the rivalry, right?
I was the guy. I was the rep. So
now you get on the Universe team again, and you're going to.
This story's even worse. Okay, you're gonna say, "Come on, you're making this up." I am not making it up. I had to do a show. Me and at the time Mike took off. No, Mike was there too. We had to do a showdown to represent. They would have to pick whoever would go to the Universe.
Right, I remember that. That was like
Szkalak was there.
Yeah,
I was there. Mike was there, and we were chosen to go to the Universe. Now, supposedly, we're supposed to have tickets, everything ready to go, and Mike is gone already. And so me and Cal go to Minicello, and I says, well, we're the reps. Where's our tickets to go to the Universe?
Yeah.
I don't have no tickets to go to the Universe. He goes, and Cal was a hot-tempered guy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no ticket. Okay. So Cal's pissed off. So we call Ben. We call the IFBB, we call Joe, and Ben says, what the F is going on? I said, we have no tickets to get to New York. He says, are you kidding me? I go, no. So he calls, and all of a sudden, 2 tickets appear. Go to the airport. They have 2 tickets there. Fine. We get to the airport. We fly all the way to, I think it was England.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there's an airline strike.
Oh, no.
We get there's an airline strike, okay? Uh-huh. Now we're doing 2 days, okay? We're stuck.
Because you got to get to France.
We're trying to stay on a diet. Me and him are walking through the airport.
Oh, man.
And he had his wife with him, and she was an angel, putting up with us. And so we were going up and down, and there's a strike. And now how are we going to get on a plane? So some guy recognizes us. He says, what are you guys doing here? I says, we got to get to France because the show's in Nîmes. And he says, look, give me your luggage. He says, just go walk on that ramp and don't turn around. Okay?
Oh, really?
He put us on the freaking plane. So they said, hey, what are you doing? He says, go. We get up there. He puts our luggage in, and he got us to France. True story.
Was this a guy who worked for the airlines or something?
Yeah, he worked for the airlines. He was a bodybuilder type. He saw who we were. He knew what was going on. He says, I can get you on this plane, but just go. And it was a blessing from heaven. It was like an angel was watching.
Yeah, really.
No swear. From day for this whole trip was another nightmare. So now we get to France, okay?
Right.
We get all the way to France, and we have no ticket to get to Nîmes. We're supposed to get the Nîmes. We don't have a ticket. The ticket stops there. All right. So now we're starving. We can't eat because we're on nothing carbs, trying to stay in shape, walking back and forth, push-ups. And in France, the sinks are so big. I said to him, dude, I got to wash. I can't be like this. This is 3-4 days. I can't do this. So I'm sitting in the sink washing myself, right? Everybody's laughing. all of a sudden these cops come in and says, what the hell are you doing? I said, oh, sorry. He goes, I thought this was a shower. I played dumb. Get out. So I had to put my clothes back on, and it was like a joke. Okay. So now we make a call to Ben and we go, yo, we got no way to get. He goes, what? Are you kidding me? No, we got no way. So we finally catch a plane. He gets us a ticket. We get on a plane.
Right.
So now we get all the way to France. We get out of France. We go to Nimes. We get to the hotel we're supposed to be in. There's no room. No room for us. Okay.
Beautiful.
It's like, and Cal's like, how can you stay so calm? I said, Cal, we got to figure something out. Getting angry ain't going to get us nowhere.
Right.
Because he was a tough guy and he was strong.
Yeah.
He was pissed. So now we're calling again, MF, and we get a room. So now we call somebody and they said, you got to take a train. We go take a train. There's no ticket, so we had to pay for it. They said, we'll reimburse you.
Yeah.
So we get all the way to Nimes now, okay?
Right.
Now we got to go to a meeting. Now, mind you, the show is Saturday. We finally get there Friday. Everybody's been there since Tuesday.
Yeah, they've been there all week. Yeah.
So we get there, there's a meeting, and it's like this big meeting, and they're telling you what room you're going to stay in, because we didn't even have a room yet. So now they say, okay, Dan, you're here. And at the time, one of the writers for what the heck was Armour Tanny was writer, and he was there too. And so they said, okay, Dan, you're going to be with this guy. I said, who the hell's that guy? I don't know who he is. He was a little squishy, and I didn't mind, but he wasn't staying with me. Yeah. So everybody broke out laughing, and then Tanny said, I'll stay with Dan, and you can put him with whoever. So at the time, I was a youngster. What did I know? And so now I get this room, and Cal gets the room, and we're talking, and that's when Tanny says, Danny, what happened? Why? I said, you don't even want to know. Because he worked for Joe. I said, this is the biggest F-up I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Said, but it's my life. I call it the Trail of Tears, because this is the crap I went through with bodybuilding.
Yeah.
So now we get there, and me and Cal, we're jogging, okay, trying to make sure we make weight.
Okay.
So, because I had to weigh 165.
Yeah.
So now I get there, and we get to we have to go to the show. We get on a bus, thousands of people. I've never seen so many people.
Wow. No kidding.
France was crazy.
Wow.
Okay? I mean, they went nuts. So we have to go in, and they make you weigh on a scale.
Okay.
Right? So I get in there, and I'm eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Starving.
And so Mohamed says to me, Makkawy, he says, you want chocolate, Dan? I go, no, I'm eating that. He goes, are you not afraid to eat that? And I said, champions ain't afraid of nothing. So I knew he was the guy to beat. Right. So now.
Yeah, were you surprised that he came back to compete again after he won it the year before?
No, because he the Europeans are very proud people. So I think for his country, he was trying to win it once or twice.
Keep coming back. Yeah.
I know that. I think that Ferrigno did that.
Yeah, he did.
If I had stayed in the universe, I could have won it 10 times in a row.
Sure, yeah.
Nobody could beat me at that weight, because 162, 165, I was untouchable.
So much size, yeah.
So now I get on the scale, and they weigh me 162 with a peanut butter sandwich in my hand. So the guy that was with Mohamed says, this can't be right. Make him strip. Like, what do you mean, make me strip? What's that got to do with anything? So I put my sandwich down. I said, why do I got to strip? Because that's the rules. All right, so I had to strip. So the guy looks at me, and he says, there's no way this guy weighs 162. He's too damn big.
Right.
Check the scale. They made him check the scale again.
Oh, man, really? Jeez.
True. I'm not lying to you. So then I'm helping Cal. And at the time, I knew Mike, but not that well. Him and I later became very good friends.
Yeah.
But I'm helping Cal to try to win his division. And so now the show goes on. And they're doing Wild World of Sports. I think did something.
Right.
I'm practicing the posing, and basically I was huge and very muscular, but not a great tan again because of the weight that I lost trying to get there.
Yeah, sure.
So now I go to the back, and Arnold says to me, you know, you look really good. I don't see how they could beat you. So now the coach or whoever the guy was for Makkawy is yelling at Ben saying, we have to win this. There's no way that I can bring him back to Egypt and not be Mr. Universe.
Yeah.
So Ben says, what do you want me to do? We don't fix shows. What do you mean? He has to win. And he says, look, don't take it up with me. I have nothing to do. He got all crazy. He started yelling at each other. So I ended up winning my division. Okay. And then Cal won his division.
Yeah.
Okay. He was the heavyweight. I was the lightweight. And I think Beckles, not Albert Beckles, but the other Beckles from the island, I think he won.
No, Roy Callender won.
Or Roy Cal, whoever it was, I couldn't remember. So
yeah, he beat Darcy Beckles, you're right.
Yep. So now we're winners, okay. And show's over. I go to my hotel. I'm victorious.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go. Everybody's gone. So I'm saying, where the hell is everybody? Me and Cal looking around, and so we go to look. We have to take a train back, but we have no ticket to get home.
Oh my God. Never ends.
So I'm with John Balick, and he said, look, I'll pay for your ticket. I said, don't worry. As soon as I get home, I'll take care of you.
Yeah.
He said, not a problem. I trust you. So we're going over this big bridge, water, and what I had to take home was a trophy and yogurt. They had yogurt or Yoplait.
Right.
So I got this trophy, and I'm walking, me and him, to getting ready to catch the train. And I said to John, make a wish. He goes, what do you mean? I threw the trophy over the bridge.
No, again.
I said, I got a choice between yogurt and the trophy. I can't eat the trophy, but I can eat the yogurt.
Oh, man.
And he said to me, gotta love you. You're nuts. So now we get on this train, and there's bodies all over the way in Europe, they just lay down. I mean, it's crazy the way you stuff in there. So we get in there, and we get to the main airport, and I get a ticket. And as soon as I got back, I called John. I said, John, give me the bill, and I'll send you the money right away. And of course, I took care of it.
Yeah.
And he said, no, I'm going to the IFBB and the Joe Weider, and I'm going to embarrass them and make them pay that bill. I said, don't even worry about it. I said, you know what? Bodybuilding is not important to me. I'm going to be a grocery store owner. I don't give a hell about this bodybuilding crap.
Right.
I'm a mom and pop store. And he got his money back. He went to Joe was so pissed off because he blamed Minicello. Minicello blamed him. It was a big mess. And then there was a big upset because Mike, who they prepped to take the universe, got beat.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about that. What did you think about that with Cal and Mike?
Well, it was weird because Mike looked tremendous that night. Cal's upper body was tremendous.
Yeah.
His legs were off a little bit,
Yeah.
Cal's were a little shy, but he did shots where you didn't notice that.
Right.
And Europe went nuts, and it was we couldn't even get on a bus. There were so many people.
Yeah.
Screaming, trying to pull at us and stuff. And so, for me, it was very close. If you're going by complete physique, Mike wins. If you're going by just big muscle mass, because, Cal was the next Arnold.
Yeah.
You notice they had all those shots of Cal, upper body, side chest, double bi, because he was a big, strong guy.
Did you meet him that year, Danny?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of him as a person?
He's a good guy, but he was a no nonsense guy.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Like Sergio. Sergio's a no nonsense guy.
Yeah.
You can't talk BS to Sergio. Don't try to cheat him because he'll punch you right in the face.
Right.
That was Sergio. He was no nonsense. Don't disrespect me, buddy.
Right.
And so that was Cal. And I'll never forget that after the show, Cal was so upset. I mean, he was pissed.
Why?
Because all the shit we went through to get to the universe.
Yeah.
We were mistreated. How do you treat us guys who represent this company?
Yeah.
And so,
So
of course, Right. So I was home, and then I flew to LA. I said, I'm going to just relax and train and have fun. And so I'm out there, and Joe gets a hold of me, and he says, I want you to come out to the office. And I come out to the office, and Cal's there, and he's arguing with Joe. He wants a paycheck. So, Joe's offering him. He goes, no, I'm worth more than that. I want money. This is what I want, blah, 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 blah. And at that time, Joe had this huge table, okay? And on this table in the office, it was a collector's item, this table. I mean, it was worth probably $100 because it was an antique. But on it, he had everybody's files, pictures.
Yeah.
So Cal gets pissed off and starts looking all over for the pictures of his pictures. You ain't using my pictures. And he's smashing, you throwing stuff all over the place.
Wow.
And I'm like, holy cow. So now he grabs his pictures and he leaves. And Joe's, upset and emotional.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget on the way out, he says, grab him. He's got, grab this guy. And everybody just closed the door. We ain't going after that nut. He'll kill us. Because, the guy could bench 500 all day.
Right.
Back then, that was a lot of weight.
Right.
I mean, he could incline 5. He could decline 5.
Wow.
I mean, he was a powerful guy. And he was upset. So just let him cool off. And then, of course, Joe didn't call the cops. He just basically let him cool off. He said, bring my pictures back. He didn't care about it. Just bring my pictures back.
Right.
So he had to talk to Cal's wife. But poor Cal was upset. And right after that, he quit. He just disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said, I'm done.
And Danny, what happened with that? Remember the union they were going to start in 1978 in the summer?
Well, we were trying to start a union.
Cal was the head of that, right?
Yeah, Cal Szkalak was involved. And we tried to get everybody together, but somehow Joe Weider got a hold of the information. We had like 2 or 3 meetings. Somebody inside there gave us up. And because even Arnold was interested in the union. He wanted it.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, Arnold was part of it.
We all wanted the union, and somebody inside there gave us up. And we never knew who it was. And basically Joe said everybody's checks will be cut off. And you'll be suspended from the IFBB, this kind of crap.
Was Joe paying you guys like a monthly salary?
What Joe would pay us a couple bucks here and there, depending on, let's say you had a show and he said, I want you to come out. He'd get you a room, a place to stay, and then he'd give you a stipend every week.
Okay.
But in return, you did photos that were worth millions of dollars and you're getting coffee money.
Right.
Well, who the hell knew? Who knew back then?
Right.
You're getting $1,000 a week. I'm doing good. But not realizing he's going to make $30 million off you.
Right.
Like my image, I never made a penny off of it.
Right. Yeah.
I made nothing. The giant killer. It's like, forget it.
So when Joe found out about the union, then how did that end it? Why was that?
Basically, he said anybody who gets in the union will be kicked out of the IFBB. You won't be able to compete with us. Number 1.
So if all you guys would have
did the check, he cut him off.
Yeah. If all you guys would have stood together, it might have worked, but probably not everybody was going to do that.
Well,
right?
I said, let's do it, but the guys all got scared.
Yeah.
They all got scared.
Yeah.
And so to me, it was a mistake because today everybody would be making money off their image the way they should have.
Yeah, for sure.
Whoever knew that we were going to, was going to be so powerful.
Yeah.
You were just happy. You were just happy to get in the magazine. Wow, I'm in the magazine.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm in Weider's magazine, And so it's like, where are you going? But who knew?
So in 1978, that's pretty much when the pro circuit started, right? Because that was the first night of the champions.
Champions. And of course, the guys were like, yeah, we can do this. And I was the only one to say, you're going to do that many shows. You're going to starve that many times.
Yeah.
Back then, it was low carbs,
Right.
Bring your brains off. And so, and we, in order to enhance bodybuilding and try to bring money into the game, we did the pro circuit. But again, the bodybuilders didn't make any money. It was the promoters who made all the money and the magazines that made all the money. And again, we got peanuts.
Yeah.
I used to complain all the time. I used to say, if a bowler can make $100,000 bowling a ball, why aren't we making $100,000?
Right. Yeah.
But, we were getting a $10,000 check for being the best bodybuilder in the country.
Yeah, in the world. Yeah.
Right. It wasn't money, but to us, because we come up hard, to me it wasn't money.
Yeah.
But to these guys, it was money.
Yeah.
To the midget, it wasn't money. But
so you did that show in July, right? That Gold's Gym Classic, and Robbie was in it, and you got second place, right? Didn't you?
Yeah, I got second there.
Yeah.
I trained for like 12 weeks for that.
Okay.
I was trying to get the caddy, but
yeah.
They had a Cadillac because Ken Sprague put that show on, I guess.
Right.
So I did pretty well there. In fact, that show there, Mike Mentzer and I, after that show, went to Frisco. At the time, I was married, and he had his woman, Kathy, I believe it was, and we went to Frisco, and I kept eating, and I was like the Hulk, ripping out of my clothes, Mike crying with laughter because I kept swelling up like a balloon. It was horrific. Right. It was so bad that I had to sleep face down with my head hanging off the bed. And Mike and my wife, they took a picture of that. But that's what I remember from that stupid show.
Yeah, Jared, I interviewed Jared Branham a few times, and he used to tell me stories about, like, you'd be in New York all year, and you'd come to Gold's in the beginning of the summer, and you'd be like, 140 pounds or something. And he said, like, in 2 weeks, you gain like 20 pounds. You just blow up.
Well, see, that was I think for Arnold and I, and physique-wise, we were the same that way, because Arnold really didn't stay big off season,
Yeah, he would shrink up.
He would slim down a little bit. And I think the difference with us and them today is the fact that we gave the body a chance to rest.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't take drugs all year round.
Right.
And, I mean, you could diet all year round, but that's too stressful.
Yeah.
So for me, I used to take a complete time out. I'm going to go play basketball. I'm playing football, baseball with the guys. And I would work out, don't get me wrong. But I would eat clean, but not,
not strict.
And so I would slim down. And I always used to say, my theory was, it's easier to gain and get in shape than it is to lose and get in shape.
Yeah.
Which today, the system now is get as fat as a cow, weigh 400 pounds to get down to 200. How dumb is that? I'll never understand that logic.
Right. Plus back then too, Dan, right? The guys didn't do a lot of drugs. I mean, they didn't do them all year. They only did them only a certain part of the year, right?
Right. If the guys did a cycle here and there, they were done.
Yeah.
It's like they don't get off.
Yeah. They don't. They don't.
I talk to guys all the time, and I try to explain to them that your body becomes immune to this crap. You need to take time down, but they all want that tattoo and that big arm. Mm-hmm. So because you got the internet.
Yeah.
You keep looking at yourself.
You got to look big all the time. Yeah.
You got to look big all the time, and the other thing with the stuff today is like, I'll go to the gym and I'll work with a client, and we do a whole body workout in, let's say, 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. These guys are still on the leg press doing a set.
Yeah, right.
Taking a picture. They got all this weight. They move it maybe a quarter of an inch.
Right.
And then take more pictures.
Right.
It's like, what is this?
Yeah.
With a headset on, it's
right.
Like,
and the phone
not anymore.
The cell phone, right?
It's different now.
Yeah. Yeah. How did you guys train back then, Dan? Were you all going like 6 days a week? I know you weren't like you didn't go super heavy, right? You just more pumped.
No, you know what? I used to off season back home when I was younger, I went pretty heavy.
Okay.
For me. But getting ready for a show, when you're on low carbs, you're just not going to go heavy.
Right.
So we would do 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, and you train each body part twice. And then right near the show, we would double split where we do chest back in the morning, legs at night.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to starve because you're going to burn that weight off.
Yeah.
And basically Joe paid us to train. So we ate perfect.
Yeah.
We behaved. You know what I mean? You got the sun. So you created some tremendous physiques.
Yeah.
But now it's different, but I understand the game has changed, but the reality is the push-pull system is the best system there is.
How many weeks out would you do the double split?
So we would do, let's say Monday, I do chest and back in the morning, and then at 3:00 I would do legs. And then the next day we do shoulders, arms, and then at night I would do calves and abs and a little aerobics. And then Wednesday start it all over.
Okay.
So you did each body part 3 times a week. So there's no way you're going to be, squatting 900 pounds. I mean,
Yeah,
I've done a 500 squat with no problem. I did a 450 bench with no problem.
Yeah.
I've done press behind heads with 225 with no problem.
Yeah.
I mean, the guys are doing more, but I was only 5'2", so.
Yeah. Yeah. How many weeks out from the show did you do the double split? Yeah.
Well, the double split would be like 3 weeks before the show.
3 weeks. Okay.
For me, I would do the regular training 6 weeks before.
Okay.
Like I would do 6 weeks of a normal training, what I call normal for me. And then you intensify the workout with a double split and then try to control the calories and the carbs.
Yeah. And you said the carbs were low back then, right? In the 70s.
Well, all of us were on 60 to 100 grams of carbs. So you were training on pure balls, you know.
Yeah.
That's realistic. And that's what separated the mice from the men.
Yeah. Were you eating more fats, or was it just mostly?
I was eating higher fats. We were eating, you know, red meats and chicken, and as you got closer to the show, we cut down on the red meats and went toward chicken and fish.
Wow.
But we you know, a lot of times I'd have a bowl of fruit in the gym, like strawberries or something. In between sets, I eat a strawberry too.
Okay.
The training functions on sugar. You got to have something.
Got to have something. Yeah. Right.
You didn't need a lot, and you know, and the better you got, you could raise your carbs. So you start at 60, you go to 100. Really, it's 60 because of the loss.
Yeah.
And you go to 150 carbs. Really, it's like 60 anyways because of the way you're burning it.
Yeah.
So you adjusted. You had to listen to the body, and if you felt a little too weak, then you had to do it. And then, like when I did the show in '81, I said I'm going to be so cut, they're not going to believe it. So I did double split. And then the last week of the show, I starved. I did no training whatsoever. Okay. The crazy part was for that show in 1981, I was jogging 8 miles twice a week.
Wow.
With no problem.
Wow.
But I was my protein, I never went past 100 grams of protein, but my carbohydrates and fat were on the ceiling. I would eat 20 yogurts, stuff like that.
Really? Huh.
Really, true story. And I was burning it off. I would jog to my house and then ride a bike back. And I did stuff like that. So everybody knew me.
Because of the high cardio.
Right. Because of the high cardio. You had to eat. You got to feed the body. You know, you don't starve. This is why when I listen to bodybuilders today, well, I can't do cardio because my body shrinks. I said, do you know what the word cardio means? 2 hours, 1 hour. You're walking on a treadmill. Yeah. Nothing's going to shrink.
Right.
So, I don't know where they get this information from, but that's what that's the crap they tell me.
Yeah.
But for that show, the last week, I starved. I went from a 2,000 calorie to a 1,500 to 900 calories.
Wow, 900 calories.
900 calories. But I was drinking a lot of water, and I'll never forget. I would get up, have a poached egg, a little, either half a cup of oatmeal or farina with 3 peaches. And then at night I would have a salad with chicken. So I was starving. Okay?
Oh man.
And then I went to 0 carbs Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before that show.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like completely depleted. And my father would look at me and say, son, you look like you're gonna die.
Yeah, that death rate.
That stuff was crazy. So I ate Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday for the 81 Olympia. So everybody says, oh my God, he was skinny. He didn't weigh. I weighed 178. It was the heaviest I ever weighed for being that cut. 178 it was.
I was going to ask you what you weighed for that show.
I weighed 178.
Wow. The
problem for me was when I would do a vacuum, I would, you suck the abs in and the face sucks in with it. So they're like, oh my God, look at the bone sticking out. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of great shots you never saw because the IFBB was embarrassed. They didn't want you to see it.
Yeah.
That was a bad show for them.
Yeah.
I'll never
that was a terrible show for them.
It was a bad show because I'll never forget. When I walked in, Tony saw me. He says, Danny, how you been? Because we were good friends. He goes, you in shape for this show? I says, I'm ready. He goes, Franco can't lose. I said, it's okay. I just want to stand next to my hero.
Yeah.
He's great, and I want to compete. I want to be compared.
Yeah.
And the guys all call me Zane, and them guys don't go. The show set up.
Right.
Because, you had the Australian show.
Right.
And so they said they're going to do the same. I says, I don't care. It's about me now.
Yeah.
It's the last chance I'll get to compete against my hero.
Yeah, because he was only coming back one time.
Franco was tremendous in his heyday.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget in the back where Arnold would say, Franco, I think you should drop out. He says,
Really?
No, I got this. No, I got this. Because I don't know. The guys look, no, I got this. I'll never forget that.
Did Arnold say that at the contest?
He said it at the contest in the back room.
Wow. No kidding.
He could deny it, but
yeah.
I was
at that show, Dan. When you walked out, I didn't recognize you at first. Because your face was so sucked in,
Right.
Yeah.
And so I was ready. And some of the shots, you don't see the best shots, but I've got certain shots that, hell, I couldn't get more cut than that.
Oh, people still look at some of those shots for today and they're just in awe. Yeah, because you looked incredible.
I was right on the point there.
Yeah.
So, and I think I changed the game that time because everybody started trying to get that look now.
Yeah.
Bigger, of course. But so for me, because Zane pulled it off.
Yeah.
And so it was, people, I got called, my buddy, in fact, Samir Banu was in the back and he ran to the phone and said, Danny Padilla's Mr. Olympia.
Wow, really?
Yeah, he was in the backstage.
Yeah.
And my buddy that trained with me said, did you hear that, Danny? I said, if I get fifth, it'll be a miracle. He says, what do you mean? I go, trust me, I could smell it.
Right.
And the score sheets were ridiculous.
Yeah.
How did I not get a perfect score for symmetry?
Yeah, I know. Well, I've gone over those score sheets and I noticed that, Dan, some of the
mandatory poses I scored low.
Right.
And if you look at the shots, I did them perfect.
Yeah.
So how can I score low? And then the shots with me and Franco, I mean, he was thick, but the beauty that physique for me that night, it was right on point.
Oh yeah, it's perfect. Yeah.
The abs were there, the back was shredded. Any shot I did, I was shredded.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But you never hear me cry about it.
No.
You never heard me complain.